The Madman! Welcome to my top 10 list of RASTAKHAN'S Rumble, though this might be coming out on exactly the day that RASTAKHAN'S Rumble releases. I did this before. These are the cards I think are going to make and shake RASTAKHAN'S Rumble and be played a lot. Number 10. Emberscale Drake. It's a card like this, as well as a card that's also going to appear, to no surprise, higher up on the list, that enables the entire Dragon Warrior thing to work, and I note that in particular, Odd Dragon Warrior to work. Lovely that this thing is 5 mana. Number 9. Raiding Party. It's not a card that I expected to get here at the beginning, but the big realization that came to me about why Raiding Party was good is because Dread Corsair is so cheap with weapons, and this guy gets you a weapon. It's a natural combo. Number 8. Bloodclaw. Hard to picture that Odd Paladin won't run Bloodclaw. It's just such a good card to enable the Paladin, the Odd Paladin, to actually quickly be able to deal with threats. That was one of the things that they were lacking in, and with Bloodclaw, they can act quickly starting on turn 1. Number 7. Mojo Master Zehi, huge game changer. Set that pathetic druid who played Wild Growth on 2 and Nourish on 5 back down to 5 mana crystals. Bwahahaha. Play it in your mid-range decks. Bring the control decks back to 5 mana, bring the combo decks back to 5 mana. I can see the Zehi in quite a lot of decks. Number 6. Saronite Taskmasters, another neutral card that I could see across a lot of different decks. Aggro decks, especially odd decks, which tend to be aggro these days between Odd Rogue and Odd Paladin, might just want to lead off with a 1 mana 2/3. I mean, they're playing Dire Mold these days, so why not play a 2/3 instead of a 1/3? Really one of the strongest turn 1 plays that you can make fights for the board really readily. Number 5. Undasta. So Death Rattle Hunter occasionally put in the big beast package into their deck. That was King Crush, Charged Devilsaur, Katharina, with Undasta being such a good card at pulling Charged Devilsaur out from your hand, or King Crush from your hand, or Witchwood Grizzly potentially from your hand, many of which don't get their Battlecry downside in the case of Charged Devilsaur or Witchwood Grizzly. Undasta seems to be really good. Number 4. Smolderthorn Lancer, hand in hand with Emberscale Drake, push these Dragon Warrior idea into Warrior, but perhaps more importantly, by virtue of being odd, really push Odd Dragon Warrior. For 1 more mana on top of Execute, which you couldn't play in Odd Dragon Warrior, you get a 3/2. Now that's a bargain. Number 3! Lickham! If you're really optimistic, and I think you don't have to be that optimistic to see it as this, it's a 2 mana 3/3 weapon. I see Lickham being put into a number of mid-range Shaman type decks, or possibly even Shudderwalk type decks, as they remove Keleseth. And boy, do you have to be a pretty good card to remove Keleseth, but maybe Lickham's so good you remove Keleseth, you put in Lightning Bolt, Lightning Storm, Volcano. 9 damage for 2 mana potentially in any aggressive deck that wants to run Lickham as well as Overload cards could herald in more aggro Shaman. Number 2. Masked Contender. Might as well put a green border on it. It's good in Hunter. Play it while you curved out your secret on turn 2. It's a 3 mana 2/4 which puts a secret into play immediately. That's astoundingly powerful. It's like a 1 mana 2/4 which you play on turn 3, which draws you a secret, and then you play the secret. It goes into what's already a very strong archetype, Secret Hunter with the subject 9, and it pushes that archetype because the card itself is just so outstandingly powerful. Honorable Mention! I originally had this card as Like, I've started sliding on it from the best card in the set down to like 5 stars, down to where it currently sits at 4 stars. But this is a card that could have the potential to really take Hearthstone by storm. It's just whether or not it actually is going to is the problem. Like, I can envision so many different Spirit of the Frog decks, between super aggressive decks that try to burn out your opponent, between mid-range decks that get the value with Unstable Evolution, some like possible Evolve Shaman deck, control decks that try to fish for the Lightning Storm and the Hex and the Volcano, and maybe you put in Crushing Hand. And then it's always a question of, do you put in Zap? Is this the super OP 3 mana Stealth Gadgetzan Auctioneer? Is it a Stargazer Luna that keeps drawing you more fuel that you are guaranteed to keep being able to be played? Will it be played alongside the Loa Kragmaw? Or is it actually really hard to build a deck of Spirit of the Frog plus like the 8 to 15 spells that you need in the deck? Like, that really limits your deck building space. We'll see. Didn't quite make my top 10, but I really wanted to put it up there. And number 1! Zul Jin. Boy, is this a card that is going to push both archetypes of Secret Hunter and Spell Hunter. Arguably stronger than Ultimate Infestation, Zul Jin will play your Emerald Spellstone for you and summon 12/12. Zul Jin will possibly Flanking Strike the opponent, deal 3 and summon another 3/3. Zul Jin will Crushing Walls the opponent's minions, or Deadly Shot, which is kind of dealing more than 5. Zul Jin will play so many of those cards that it's basically the same, actually better than drawing 5. You'll draw and put them into play. You'll put into play all the secrets. You'll kill your opponent's board with the Crushing Walls and the Deadly Shot. You'll summon a bunch of 3/3s. It's gonna be incredible. And oh, by the way, your hero power might improve.